Hey guys, welcome back to the Digital Entrepreneur Show, the one-on-one interview series. My name is Tim Knox, and this is the show where I go one-on-one with a digital entrepreneur, someone who is really making a difference in the digital space and running and starting and growing an amazing business. My guest today, Nick Nimmin, who is a full-time YouTube creator, and I've got to be completely honest here, Nick, you may not know this, but you've always been a mentor to me. You can tell by the blue background, I'm Nick inspired there. So before we get started, we're going to talk a lot about YouTube creation because that is really what you are so damn good at. You are building an amazing channel and you do it so quickly. Before we get started, though, for the folks that aren't familiar with the infamous or famous Nick Nimmin, give us a little insight. What were you doing before you found YouTube?
Before I found YouTube, I basically did freelance graphic design. I also did, contracted graphic design as well. And with that also comes a lot of additional side work because, when you're working with somebody and they reach out to you and they're like, hey, you're doing this for us. Do you happen to know anybody that does this? Mm-hmm. And then you think, well, no, but maybe I can figure it out. Maybe I can do it for you for a fee, right? So I was doing, a lot of freelance work. I was doing, a handful of, nice, strong clients that consistently paid the bills, which was comforting. In addition to that, I started dabbling into internet marketing, and that also kind of let me join the two and start a YouTube channel to kind of share that information. The original plan was to basically share that information with, other people so that they could, maybe get an advantage in that particular space of, learning skills, creating videos, working with clients and things like that. So that was my initial push that brought me into the YouTube sphere.
So you had a graphic design business and customers started asking if you could do things, and rather than saying no, you went, oh yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, well, I dabble in this anyway. So, if you need somebody to edit your videos, sure, I'll edit them. It might take me a little bit longer than, somebody else that you're paying, but we're already working together, and, I'll make it worth your efforts, so to speak, with good quality.
So you got on the job training on the customer's dime, which is always great.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's fantastic. That definitely pays putting out for it, or beats putting out for it.
Let's go back there for just a second, because there came a point when you were, I would assume you were doing things online. You had mentioned you were an internet marketer, but primarily in the beginning, your YouTube channel was to share what you were doing. Was it tutorials? What exactly was it?
Initially, it was basically just sharing tips. I wasn't specific because I didn't really know what I was doing when I started the channel. So I wasn't specific as far as, hey, this is exactly what you're going to learn. I kept it really vague and, basically made it more along the lines of, and I didn't even say it. I just kept it more along the lines of, that it was going to be skills about kind of working on your own and, how to do some Photoshop, how to do some editing, that sort of thing.
The focus of your channel now, which is, as I said before, is growing 4,000 or 5,000 subs a month, man, is just incredible.
6,000. We're at 6,000 today.
Oh, well, pardon me.
Yeah. It's okay.
Awesome. Well, the focus now is really more on YouTube creation. You are one of the, in my opinion, one of the best coaches out there when it comes to how to create a YouTube channel, how to create great videos. At what point did your YouTube ventures change from doing, graphic design tutorials more into the tutorials and the how-tos to create a YouTube channel?
What happened is during my process of, putting out videos, and I wasn't even serious about it at first anyway, when I first started the channel, I was just kind of putting out videos, I'd miss a couple weeks and then drop in, 2 weeks in a row. And there wasn't like a real consistent schedule with it. But I had just a handful of videos in the can, maybe 15 videos, 20 videos, something like that. And then another guy that is currently in the YouTube space reached out to me and he said, hey man, I saw your presentation. Actually, let me back that up. We were in the same Facebook group because it was a video marketing Facebook group. And I was posting in there, he was posting in there, and then he did a 100,000 subscriber special. I'm talking about Dare Leaves. And he did a 100,000 subscriber special to where you could submit your videos to him and say, what you learned from him, what you wanted to get from your channel as far as contributing to the community or whatever it is you're wanting to get from your channel. He saw my presentation there, went to my channel, saw how I was presenting there, and he reached out and he said, hey man, I think that you are kind of barking up the wrong tree so to speak. And I think that because of your presentation and your camera presence and all of that, that you would be better suited for another type of channel. And, you know, with him being, you know, right now he's got like 300 and something thousand. At the time, like I said, he had just crossed 100. And, you know, that's a lot of people, right? And I'm thinking like, hey, this guy reached out to me. You know, he works with all of these big companies with YouTube, and, you know, he saw something in me. So yeah, I'll give it a shot. So basically I took the next like 8 months getting that channel together and getting that channel launched and off the ground and all of that. And I loved it. And I started getting obsessed with YouTube, and I started getting obsessed with editing and how to keep people watching the videos and trying to learn everything that I could about YouTube. And that channel, you know, it started doing well. But the drawback was that, and Daryl even warned me of this, you know, I have to make this, you know, I have to make that statement as well. But one of the things that Daryl said is make sure that whatever schedule you start out with, that you stay on that schedule consistently, and that it's something that you can sustain. And that's the kicker. So I said, okay, yeah, I can do this. I'm going hard, right? And I'm going to upload 3 videos a week, and I'm just going to go for it. And that's what I did. And that channel ended up essentially consuming my life by choice. And during that period, I loved the journey. It was awesome. And all the stuff that I was learning when making the videos for that channel, it's All Our Questions is the name of that channel. But all the stuff that I learned from making those videos, doing the research for the actual content, the actual production process, the mass production process, and all of that, I just fell in love with the whole thing. But it ended up taking over my life to the point to where, you know, I was losing clients because I was so obsessed with YouTube, right? So completely irresponsible, but, you know, I mean, that's just how it was. But, you know, I ended up, you know, losing some clients because I was so obsessed with YouTube, and I would be late on deadlines and, you know, things like that. And I ended up just completely burning out because, you know, I was taking that, and I was, you know, I was trying to balance my graphic design business and YouTube, and I just completely burned out.
People don't realize how much effort it takes to do 3 videos a week, especially the kind you were doing that required heavy research, right?
Yeah. The research on those was the most time consuming part, because, you know, it's easy to hop on Wikipedia and read through Wikipedia and put together a quick script and wrap it up. But what I was trying to do is I was trying to look around and try to find stuff that people weren't talking about in videos, or try to find stuff that, you know, was newer information, or, you know, more up-to-date information or whatever. And in doing that, you know, it sucked up a lot of time. And I had to, just for the reference for anybody watching this, the idea of the channels, I basically answer the world's most asked questions. So what I would have to do is I would have to research the topics, which, Tim, as you know, that takes time.
Yep.
And I would find questions that people were looking for the most. And then I would have to go and I would research those, like, you know, how to be happy. You know, that's one. So basically I had to go through and
I missed that video.
Yeah, it was the very first one on the channel because I thought it was the most important, right? But with that video, you know, I had to go through and find the science behind, you know, what makes our bodies act in a certain way, the chemicals and all that stuff, so that we, you know, have a better chance to, you know, to feel better about everything in ourselves and the way things are going, and, you know, all that stuff. And, you know, that's kind of how I had to package every single video in a way like that.
Those videos had a pretty high production value too.
Yeah. And that channel still gets over like 300 something subscribers a month. You know, I mean, it's growing in the background right now. And I would like to go back to it down the road, because I'm obsessed with YouTube. Down the road, if if things change a little bit to where I can like hire somebody strictly as a video editor for that channel, and another person strictly as a researcher for that channel, then I would probably do it again.
And you would just be
and go back to it. Yeah. So where basically I would go on, I would do my part, and then pass off the footage to them. But, you know, like I said, I love the channel. I love the content, but the amount of time that it took was taking up my life. And because I hadn't made videos on the other channel for so long, that my current channel, I made one video and I was like, oh my God, that was so fast. And I realized that I could put together 8 videos on my current channel in the same amount of time that it took me to do 3 videos, or I'm sorry, 1 video for the other channel, right?
Is that because the research factor wasn't there?
The research factor wasn't there. The script wasn't there, and the heavy editing wasn't there. Sometimes I'll do heavy editing, but the heavy editing wasn't there either. So you know, basically, instead of having to go out and research,
the new videos were what? They were more geared toward the current channel.
Yeah, they were on the current channel.
Okay.
Yeah, because basically I burned out on the one and I said, you know what? How it started was, okay, well, I'm going to do one video this week. And then I'm going to do one video next week. And then, you know what? I'm going to skip a week. And then next thing you know, I just wasn't doing it anymore.
Been there.
So yeah, it's, you know, it just kind of, you know, disappears kind of. But, you know, when I made that video for my current channel, I thought, wow, this happened, you know, so fast. And all of the information is basically stuff that I had learned from, you know, working with Daryl and from studying, you know, YouTube and going through the process of growing that other channel. And I was like, you know what? All of this stuff's in here and I don't even have to write a script for any of this. So not only am I saving time on research, but now basically I can share stuff that as I'm feeding my obsession and I'm looking around trying to learn more stuff, I can basically, you know, share that information as well. And basically it's all in here to where I don't have to spend all the time researching. I don't have to, because I would be looking into YouTube stuff anyway. So I don't have to spend all the time researching. I don't have to spend all the time, you know, writing scripts and trying to be clever and all of that stuff. I can just, you know, basically stand in front of the camera with some bullet points and go for it.
The one thing that I really like to do is I like to go back and I like to look at the evolution of a YouTuber. For example, you know, someone like a Jacksepticeye guy who now has what, 16, 17 million. But if you go back and look at his videos just a year or 2, 3 ago, when he was really struggling, you know, he's a completely different person, not just in presentation, but in confidence and how he does stuff. And I remember going back and looking at your videos when you were on the question videos that you were doing, and they weren't really camp, but you know what I mean? They were more presentation style. They were more scripted. You know, what you're doing now is more, you know, freelance, seat of the pants, just kind of, you know, riffing and getting it out there. Was that a hard change for you to make, or is that more your personality?
It was a hard change to make because on all our questions, I was trying. Here's the difference. On all our questions, I was trying. When I came back to my channel, I was doing. Totally different. Yeah, totally different thing. Like on all our questions, I was like, you know what? I think I should be doing it this way. I think that I should, you know, do this. I think that I should do that. And because of that, I was doing it. So as that channel grew, I started growing confidence in my own abilities, you know, because, you know, my watch time started increasing and all that stuff. So I started growing confidence in my own abilities as well. And then when I went back to the other channel, it was just more of like you know what, I'm not going to put on a show here. I'm just going to just let it out. You know what I mean? I'm just going to kind of I'm just going to kind of peel the mask off and I'm just going to go for it. And, you know, people really responded to that.
Well, was that a hard thing to do though? I mean, because
it was uncomfortable.
I think you are, because we're both old artists, graphic designers.
Hey,
we're so, yeah. I mean, I even today, it's really hard for me to just, you know, just let the details go. Everything has to be just right. My monitors behind me have to be just the perfect angle. You know, I don't do any scripting. Everything is just off the top of my head. But, you know, if I was doing a show like you were doing, and really it's the difference between, say, a network anchor, how he is on screen, and then how you get him in a bar. You know what I mean? And yeah. There's that shift. And I think was there a shift in your confidence, your ability to just come on camera without the script and just go for it?
Yeah. And once I started doing that, because initially on that channel, I used scripts, right? Mm-hmm. And I think maybe, you know, like a video or two that I had in the can, I had some scripts on it because I put together like a playlist on how to grow your channel or something like that. I think on those I used scripts. But I was so used to using scripts that switching to just going off the top of my head was uncomfortable. And I actually had to do a bunch of practice videos. And I had to do a bunch of practice videos in order to be able to be comfortable with my flow of thought, basically, in order to be able to just kind of let it out and just keep going, you know. And the same thing with live streaming, you know, that was a whole other beast, because I was like, you know, like, hey man, I just got this whole video thing down. Now I gotta go into this live streaming thing where that's just like, you know, nonstop for 3 hours straight. You know what I mean? I mean, you know exactly what I mean, because you do the same thing. So, you know, it was a hard transition to make. It was uncomfortable, but that transition, I think, was one of the game changers for my channel, because it took it from, you know, again, it took it from being, you know, that I'm trying to do it and I'm acting a certain way, to I'm just doing it and I'm just kind of letting myself out there. And if people like it, cool. If they don't like it, you know, that's fine too. That there's a bajillion channels on YouTube they can go watch.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk a little bit about the channel growth, because there came, I would imagine, a tipping point where you were doing these YouTube creator style videos, and I know you had Daryl Eves in your corner, which is a great guy to have in your corner. Um,
Well, on my channel, he hasn't had anything to do with my channel.
okay,
That was all. Yeah, that was all on the All Our Questions. Yeah, that was all on the All Our Questions channel.
So at what point, I mean, you're doing these videos, did they immediately take off? Was there a ramp up? Did you ever get frustrated at the lack of growth? What was in the beginning? What was the way that the channel took off? Did it take off in the beginning?
When I first came back to the channel and I started going for it on that channel, before I did that, it's back there. But basically, before I did that, what I did was I basically said, okay, well, if I'm going to do this other channel, I'm actually going to build a business around this thing, right? So I sat down and I figured out exactly all of the stuff that I was going to create over time and all of the things that I was going to do in order to basically tap into the YouTuber audience, right? And when I started putting up the videos, I've always had that in mind, right? Grow that audience. And then once you have that audience in place and they're just laser targeted for the stuff that I create, then once I have that audience in place, then I can, go ahead and offer things here and there. People that are into it will hop on board. People that aren't will not. So, so basically what I did is I just kind of, and I still am, just kind of followed that blueprint through. So it took me 15 videos just to kind of pull back around to the, to your question, Tim. It took me 15 videos to go from 300 subscribers per month to, it was like 1,500 or 2,000 subscribers a month. So basically when I came back and I first started, I had to go through that process. And at the time I was doing, I started out at just 1 upload per week. And then I ramped it up to 2. And then I ramped it up to 2 in a live stream.
And do you think that's what really caused it to take off, was the frequency of upload? Because we hear that a lot. Brian, our buddy Brian G. Johnson and we talk quite a bit about this sort of thing. And of course, one of the things he talks about is your frequency of upload and how that is a big factor. Is that what you found, is once you started putting up a couple, 3 a week and doing a live feed, the numbers really started to take off?
Yeah, but on the flip side of that, I kind of responded to everything taking off by making more content as well. So like on the weekly uploads, things started to take off, and that kind of got me excited because I was like already obsessed. I'm already into it. And then it's like, hey, this is actually, the trajectory on this is looking pretty sweet. So I'm going to see what I can do here. And then I dropped in the other upload, and I wouldn't have ever started live streaming unless they did the mobile app. Brian G., since you brought him up, when they brought that out, their mobile streaming, because I had 10,000 subscribers at the time. I think I might have had maybe 15. And Brian hit me up on Facebook and he's like, hey man, do you have the new mobile live streaming app yet? And I was like, I don't know. Let me, or the new option. And I was like, I don't know. Let me see if I have it. And I did. So I was like, hey dude, I'm gonna have to get back to you. And I ran in the other room, turned on the lights, and I went live for like 3 hours. I think it was 2 or 3 hours. And after that live stream, because of that interaction that you get with the audience, because after that live stream, I was hooked, and I was like, all right, I got to work this into my schedule somehow.
Yeah. One of the things you said that kind of caught my ear is you made the conscious decision to start treating it like a business.
Yeah.
And I think that's a mistake that a lot of, entrepreneurs, for lack of a better word, make, is not just on YouTube, but in business in general. It's more of a fun hobby. It's the latest shiny thing. But at that moment when you decided to make it a business and approach it as a business, how did the semantics of it change? Rather than just doing videos, did you start planning out your shows? What did you do to treat it like a real business?
In order to treat it like a real business, I basically, of course, had to get, a few assets in place, as far as, which I actually had the email capture in place from day one, just from knowing a little bit about internet marketing. But, I had to, get a couple other assets in place. So that I would have a place to send the traffic to as the channel grew. And really outside of that, it was just more of strategy, as far as, okay, I'm going to make these videos and I'm going to give something away to drive people to my email list. And then I'm going to make these videos that are more like just jam packed with value, so that, people are going to be like, holy cow, I got to subscribe to this channel and keep coming back. And then I drop in another freebie. You know what I mean? So it's getting that, strategy together to where it's just kind of, essentially pulling people in a way, because it's like, hey, here's value and here's something free.
And again, I think of things as you're talking there, it's all of a sudden it's kind of like you started thinking more about the viewer, i.e. your customer, than your own needs. You started thinking about what was of value to them. And
Oh,
once you started delivering that, that's really when things take, and that's when you start thinking of it as a business, when you stop thinking about yourself and you start thinking of your viewer or your customer, right?
yeah, absolutely. Like there are a few dynamics going on. Like one, of course, is I love YouTube. If I'm going to keep doing YouTube or any type of, influencer type stuff,
Mm-hmm.
then I have to make content that supports that, right? And I have to, be into that whole thing. But on the flip side, if I want to keep doing that, I need to generate income
Right.
from it. Because if I'm not generating income, then, I won't be able to keep my internet connected. I won't be able to buy cameras. I won't be
Yeah.
able to, to upgrade anything. I won't be able to live and focus on making content if I don't make a business of some kind
Right.
out of it. And that comes down to life too, Tim. As like if you part of being a digital entrepreneur is an entrepreneur of any kind is or an awesome human of any kind is to sit down and say, okay, these are the things that I want to do. This is the type of day that I want to have every day. This is the type
Right.
of life that I want to live. These are the type of experiences that I want to have. What can I do that's going to, over a period of time, it might be a long period of time, but what can I do over a period of time that's going to help make all of this stuff possible so that I can, live the life that I want to live instead of being in the rat race empire when you should be building your own, you know?
Exactly. Well, let's talk a little bit about the first steps, because a lot of entrepreneurs are interested in using YouTube to either market their business or build their brand, and some of them may be interested in actually creating a channel and generating content. Before you start, if I'm an entrepreneur who's thinking about starting a YouTube channel, either to augment my business or create a business around that YouTube channel, what are a few things that I need to think about first? I would think the very first one would be should I really start a channel? Is that for me? What do you think?
I think that uh, anybody can start a channel, but there are certain elements that are important. You got to have a personality of some kind. I mean, of course, everybody has the people that will connect with them, but if you want to actually grow something that, a bigger majority of people are going to be into, then you have to be able to put your personality out there and let people connect with, essentially who you are. You got to expose yourself, for lack of a better phrase. You have to basically, take the mask off and just expose yourself, put yourself out there and go for it. If you're afraid to do that and you stand behind this, I don't know what to call it, but if you're afraid to put yourself out there, then you probably should make a YouTube channel, because with a YouTube channel comes a lot of work. With a YouTube channel comes haters, comes trolls. There's people that will send you emails just to tell you what I'm not going to say all the words here, but,
Right.
just to tell you what type of person they think you are. So, just for the sake, and it comes down to all types of things: wearing glasses, not having hair, if you're somebody like me, people always have something to say. So I think that if you are afraid of what it is that people might say or the reaction that they might have, I think that it might not be for you. And with that said, though, the very first channel, or the very first video that I put on my channel, was about overcoming camera shyness. And the
Mhm.
funny thing is that video was actually more for me than it was for the people that watch the channel, because that was the first time that I was actually putting myself out there.
Mhm.
So, I had all of these internal things that I was going through, and I said, okay, well, in order to overcome this, not only am I going to recommend it to other people, but I'm going to say all of the stuff that I'm feeling right now so that I can watch this every time I start feeling weird about something. And the funny thing is one of the things that I said in that video is, if you're afraid to start making, I'm paraphrasing here, but it was like, if you are afraid of what somebody else might think about you in your life or whatever, right now that might seem like a big deal to you, but down the road, making videos is just something that you do. And everybody's going to be like, oh, hey, it's that guy that makes videos, or, hey, this is my brother, or my son, or my, my spouse, or whoever it is that, one of the things that they do is make videos for a business, for fun, or for, for a hobby. And that's exactly what has transpired too, because, I took that step as far as, you know, just saying, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. And I took that step. And now, you know, I'm that guy that, you know, makes videos. You know what I mean? So it just kind of, you know, worked out that way. But that's the truth though. Like if you, you know, if you're considering as an entrepreneur doing YouTube, and you really should, you know, I would just make sure that you're confident enough to take any negativity that comes from it, but also know that on the flip side, I mean, it's an amazing platform. You know, you can, because of its ability to rank and search, the leverage that you have with YouTube is insane. The fact that when people watch your videos while you're sleeping, people are watching your videos and they're binge watching your content, and they start to feel like they know you. And there's nothing more powerful when you're trying to, you know, recommend things to people than people feeling like they know you. You know, just like if a buddy of yours, you know, like Tim, if I hit you up and I was like, hey, Tim, you know, I've got this, you know, this awesome coffee cup. It's going to change your life. Right. And I know you're going to be like, hey, I've got this dog lover coffee cup that I'm not going to get rid of. But, you know, if I was like, you know, hey, it's really cool, you know, great deal on it, you should at least check this coffee cup out. You'd probably go take a look.
Yeah.
Right. Because that sales defense is gone. Right. Because the same exact thing happens with the videos, because they feel like they know you once you get that audience built in. And you'll have those emails too. Like you have that negative part of it with the trolls and haters and everything, but you also have people, of course, depending on the type of content you make, you also have people that reach out and they're like, hey, you know, I love your stuff. I was afraid to go on camera until I watched this video. Now I've been doing it and I've got 5,000 subscribers. It's awesome. Feels great. Thanks. You know what I mean? Like you get, you know, positive feedback as well as negative feedback. But the most important things that I would recommend, and I'm just kind of going on a rant here, Tim, so jump in here anytime that you want. But one of the things that I would highly recommend with any entrepreneur interested in going onto YouTube is, one, keep visual authority in mind. It's very important that as a business or an entrepreneur that you present yourself that way, as far as, you know, in your videos, when people come to your channel, you know, the stuff that you're doing. It's also important that you have a game plan together, because a lot of people, like my consulting clients, like a lot of people will come to me and they'll say, help me. Right. And they'll want help from me. And in our first call, I'll say, okay, first thing I got to ask you is what are you trying to accomplish with your channel? What's your goal? And the amount of blank faces that come from that. Yeah. Because people have no idea. And when you don't know what it is that you're trying to accomplish with your channel, when things aren't going well, then it makes that wall that you're trying to get over that much bigger, because you don't even know why you're trying to get over it. You know what I mean? Yep,
I do. And that's one thing that, you know, I do a lot of entrepreneurial coaching. And one of the things that I always recommend is to look at YouTube, you know, not necessarily to create a channel like you and I are doing here with personality and with, you know, being on camera, but figure out ways that you can use it to really enhance your business or brand your business. We talk a lot on the main digital entrepreneur show about selling online. And one of the shows that we've got coming up is how to sell through video. So maybe you do not have camera presence, but maybe your business, which I think every business can benefit from some kind of visual. You know, if you sell pens, do a video about the benefits of your pen. Or if you fix air conditioners, do that. So a lot of times it doesn't come down to whether you look good or you will do on camera. It's how can video really help you bring in more customers? And by the way, Nick, you have hair. It just moved. That's a hell of a
it came down here. Yeah, that's the truth.
Let's talk a little bit about the initial setup. Okay, if I'm one of your clients, Nick, and I come to you and I say, okay, I really want to start my own channel. I want to start a cooking channel or a drawing channel. What do I need? Do I need to go spend $10,000 on equipment? Do I need to take voice lessons? You know, Nick, what are the basic things and the equipment that I need just to get started?
A cell phone and sunlight.
Two things that are everywhere.
Yes.
Depending on
a cell phone and sunlight. Of course, you can up your game, so to speak, to where, like with our stuff, Tim, we use DSLRs and we have the lighting in the background, and we put in that extra effort because we feel that it's something that's important, because it is, right? Visual authority. If everything looks good and it looks professional, people are going to give you a little bit more consideration than they would if, like, for example, if you're watching this right now, when this screen came on, if both Tim's and mine video looked horrible, sounded horrible, looked like we were shooting in a dark room or whatever,
Right.
I almost guarantee you that you wouldn't have made it this far, because you would think, hey, what are these guys even talking about? Their stuff is atrocious, right? So it's definitely important to level up when and if you can. But starting out, a phone is fine, but it's really important that you make sure that you have enough light. Super important. And it's super important that even if you get a small lavalier mic, you can get them for $20 on Amazon to improve your audio from your phone. It's super important, because if your audio is horrible, people aren't going to stick around either. So decent audio and a phone with a relatively decent camera, so you can upload in 1920 by 1080 frame, and then you're good.
What are your thoughts to the adage that I hear so much now? Content over quality. That the content of the video is much more important than the quality. I agree with that. But a bad video also will drive me away. Like you said, if the audio and video is bad, I may not stick around to even listen to that great content. What do you think?
I think that it's dependent on social proof. So, okay, like for example, if I had 2 uploads on my channel that I uploaded tomorrow and they didn't look fantastic, because I have an audience built in already, I would get hate for it, or I would get, some words over it, but it wouldn't stop the momentum of things. However, if it was my first or second video, nobody had ever seen anything that I had done, and I was on there giving the best advice in the world, but they look at my video and they see that I have, 8 views and my video looks like crap, most likely they're not even going to hit the play button.
Right.
So they're not going to get a chance to get to my content. So if you can find that happy balance to where it looks good enough and then your content is solid, that can get you far enough to where you can upgrade later.
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of the really big guys now, they don't even really care about keywords, descriptions. PewDiePie is now coming to you from, it looks like a closet somewhere, but he's got so many subscribers. I think there comes a tipping point where your audience no longer puts so much credence in your background and your quality as they do the message and just being with you. And I think a lot of that has to do with the relationships you build. And you touched on this, the interactivity that you have as a YouTube creator is just insane, because people content. Talk a little bit about the interactivity.
Yeah, according to Social Blue Book, I have a rating and engagement, which is the highest that you can get. So basically, they calculate that against the comments, likes, all that stuff, against the amount of views that I get. So I have an A++, which basically, as far as engagement is concerned, that puts me with the big channels.
Yeah.
With the big boys. I got my big boy pants on. You know what I mean?
Oh, are you wearing pants?
No, I'm not actually. No, I'm just kidding. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, to go ahead.
Yeah, no, you were talking about your A+ rating and you're on.
Oh yeah, we're talking about engagement.
Yeah, engagement.
Yeah. So to back it up just a tad, when we were talking about things looking good and how things look and stuff like that, one of the things that I think really helps my engagement is, I know as an entrepreneur, it's my job to know who it is that I'm speaking to. It's my job to know who my target audience is, the people that I'm trying to reach, right? Mm-hmm. As a YouTuber, same exact thing applies, right? You have to know who it is you're going after. So in my case, I'm going after people that make videos either for a living, or they make videos because, it's something that they're passionate about and they want to do it when they're not working, right? So because of that, I have to come to my audience in a way to where when they see my content, they think, holy cow, how's this guy doing this? Or, holy cow, that looks great. Or, oh, wow, I didn't even think of, putting a light back there. Oh, wow, I didn't even think of, coming at it this way, or, whatever. Like I have to come with my game face on, because I'm standing there being judged by people that either make videos for a living or they make it because they're passionate about it. So since those people are my target audience, I'm speaking to them not only, through the way that I present my videos and the information that I'm sharing, but I'm subconsciously speaking to them via the visual authority that I give as soon as my video opens up.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's one thing I really like about you, Nick, as a person is, and knowing you as I do, the Nick that I talk to offline is the same Nick that's online. And I think that shows through, because you're very transparent. This is who you are, and this is what you're willing to do. And gosh, if you don't like Nick, something's wrong with you, because you're very
tell that to my ex-girlfriend.
well, if you stay away from chicky pie, I'm telling you. By the way, I love that video. We'll put a link to that. So I'm going to start out. I can start off with something as basic as a cell phone, some good lighting, try to improve my audio. Do you think audio quality is more important than video quality?
I think they hold hands. I think they're both extremely important, but audio is half of the video experience. As cliche as that sounds, it's the truth. Like when you go to a Hollywood movie, there's a reason that they spend a ton of money on making sure that they're on sound design. There's a reason that they do that, because it has a humongous impact on your experience when you're watching the movies. The same exact thing happens if you are watching a video and the audio is solid in that video to where you're not struggling to hear anything. Everything is like super clear. It's loud, but in a pleasant way, not in an annoying way, but it's loud. So it's easy to consume. Then people are definitely going to tune in because it demands them to.
Yeah. I think you're right. I can remember going to see Pirates of the Caribbean and the sound cut out about a third of the way through. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm out of here. So,
right.
Yeah. So, just the basics of it. We're not going to go into how to set up a YouTube channel and all that stuff. You can go over to Nick's channel if you want to check that out. But, Nick, talk a little bit about the importance of editing, because that is always something that I think a lot of entrepreneurs, if they're trying to do it themselves, they're not having a professional or someone else do the editing. You and I both know I use Sony Vegas. I know you do too. There's a steep learning curve on most of these editing softwares. If I'm just a basic guy, I've got my cell phone video, even if I put it on my PC, should I worry a lot about editing? Is that something I really need to learn to do myself, at least until I can afford to offload that to someone else?
It depends on the type of content that you're making. It depends on who your market is. Like, essentially, you can just go live, and then you don't have to edit anything. Basically, you start it out, you're live, and then you're done, right? So, which is fantastic.
Right.
On the flip side of that, if you are trying to make a somewhat professional and impressive production, in that case, you do need to learn to edit a little bit. But I mean, you can do a lot with just basic cuts, basically just going in and removing things and, basically sliding one thing into place or changing scenes or whatever. Right. So you can do a lot. You can go a long way on basic edits. Even in my most recent videos, I don't put all the editing into it that I used to, because it seems like people respond to it in a similar way. I'll do little things, like I'll do a slow zoom in on the screen, or I'll do some transitions. I'll do zoom cuts and things like that in order to keep it moving. But outside of that, I mean, with all things considered, it's a really simple edit.
It's one of the things I've noticed with your videos. We mentioned Brian earlier and a lot of the others. The production, the time spent editing and producing now seems to be far less, because you guys are doing more of the live style videos. Even when you record a video for later broadcast, it has that live feel to it. And is that you're not getting lazy? Is it the fact that you're finally figuring out, hey, I can do this and be just as effective?
It's that, and it's time. You have to, as somebody that is, an entrepreneur, you have to make sure that you are using your time efficiently.
Yep.
And, like last night, for example, I shot, let's see here. I shot, edited, and got online a video within, I think, 3.5 hours.
Wow.
Right. So, and for some people, that's a long time. For other people, that's like, oh my God, I can't believe you did it that fast. So, it just depends on what it is that you're making and what where you're at in the journey. You know what I mean? But last night I was able to get one together because I was actually listening to an audiobook, and they were talking about the importance of being unique and things like that. And I was like, man, I gotta push my other stuff back tonight, and I gotta make a video, and I gotta put this in there somewhere. So at the very end of the video, I went on this big rant about, being yourself and, all this other stuff. So, but I was able to put that together in 3.5 hours. So, when you're first starting out, things are going to take a lot longer. And the reason for that is you don't have a full wrap around the workflow. You don't have a full wrap around the organization side of editing, and you just don't know your way around the software well enough to where, you know, there might be an option within the software that you're already using to where if you just use that option, it will make your edits, you know, a lot faster, be it shortcuts on your keyboard, be it using a transition instead of going in and using the crop tool, or, you know, whatever. But, you know, there's all these little things that you learn over time that can really speed you up. And it does speed you up, you know, if you work on optimizing your workflow.
It seems like there's a lot less pressure when you guys are going live than there is in a produced video. And I think it's because of what you said before, that the viewer is very forgiving. You know, if I'm watching a Nick Nimmin live broadcast and Nick has to, you know, go fill his coffee cup or do whatever, I'm more forgiving than, you know, watching a produced package. And one thing I want to touch on, and I want your opinion on this, and we're not going to hurt anybody's feelings because they know who they are and what they do. But
that setup really intimidated me. I'm worried about what's around the corner.
Yeah, right. I'm not calling anybody out by name. I just see a lot of people trying to copy what you do without getting your level of success. You know what I mean? I see people out there that have a dozen subscribers doing how to do YouTube videos. Yeah. And to me, it's fake expertise. They have watched you, and they've watched Brian, and they've watched Daryl and Schmoyer, and they see, wow, these guys are building these great audience. I'm going to go do that too, although I have no cred to do so.
Yeah, they're faking it until they make it. And it's clear. I can see it. Yeah, I can see it just like, you know, you wouldn't mention that if you didn't see it, right? Like I can see it just like you can. The unfortunate side is, like, if they're regurgitating our information, they're regurgitating Daryl's information, they're regurgitating Tim's or Roberto's information, Brian's, mine. If they're regurgitating stuff and it's accurate, totally cool, whatever, do your thing. But if they don't have any experience, or they don't have the experience enough to do that, and they're advising other people, they're actually doing a disservice. It doesn't make me, it doesn't make me mad or anything like that, because people will see through that. They'll be like, okay, well, I'm taking this guy's advice and it's not working, I'm not sticking around. Right. But when somebody tries to, do the same thing, like, again, not naming names, but, yeah, you know what? I can't even say that without it being obvious.
No, so hey, let's name some names. Come on.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. But
but here's the thing. If you see a video,
here's the thing.
If you see a video from someone who is showing them how to do a blue background, that's clearly your stuff. I mean, I'm going to get irked on your behalf because I'm a far less tolerant person than you are.
Well, in a case like that, right? Like with the blue background, right? Like this. This kind of comes from design a little bit, like, the whole contrasting thing. Right. Plus I like the whole moody thing. Even when I'm chilling by myself, I'll have my blue lights on. I got a blue light here behind this desk as well that people don't even see, because I just like having the lights off, listening to music, and just kind of, got that whole vibe thing going for the creativity. But I'm not the first person in the world to put a blue light behind me or to put a blue wall behind me. You know what I mean? So because
you were first, I was second.
But the funny thing is, though, in our space, right, in the YouTube creator space, like the instructor space, I was that person. But as far as YouTube is concerned and making videos are concerned, I'm definitely not the first person to do that. So I can't put, even though it's kind of like a signature thing to me now, right. I can't stake a claim as the owner of that and then hate on other people because they use a blue light. Also, like Philip DeFranco, if you look at Philip DeFranco, I think he still has a blue wall behind him that he's had for 10 years.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
The blue wall on the couch.
Yeah. So, if that was the case, if I could get mad at somebody else for that, then they could get mad at me for saying, oh, hey, well, you ripped off Philip DeFranco. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, it's not just the rip off factor. I think the thing that really, and maybe this is what gets me about it, is in my mind, I kind of feel bad for them because they're really not being true to themselves.
Yeah.
Which I think they're to build a channel like you have done, you have got to be true to yourself, right?
And you got to be true to your audience.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got to be true to your audience. You have to really care about the people that are watching your videos too, because you are advising them. They are looking to you for advice. You have to be leading by example. If you're not leading by example, then they shouldn't even be paying attention.
Yeah.
Right. And people will catch on to that. Right. And the unfortunate thing is, you know, and again, this is another case, and I'm not going to say names, but I had someone reach out to me recently. Very nice person. You know, the communication has been cool. But he specifically said, hey, I see what you're doing on YouTube. I'm going to try to do the same thing. He's got a channel. He's got like 10,000 subscribers on it, which is cool. He's had it for like, you know, a long time. But he says, you know, hey, I see what you're doing on YouTube. I'm going to try to do the same thing. Yeah. And then he starts asking me all of this advice. Hey, do you think I should do this? Do you think I should do this? And he still hits me up a few times a week asking me for advice on what he should do with his channel. And I'm thinking to myself, I've actually specifically told him, not just thinking to myself, but I'm like, dude, if you're asking me this stuff, you shouldn't be making a channel on it. Now, with all of that said, I have to back all of this up. And I have to say that when I started doing YouTube advice on my channel, you know, I had, you know, a little bit over, I think like 2,500 subscribers on that current channel. I think I had 5,000 or 4,000 on the other channel. So combined of maybe, you know, 6,000 subscribers, which isn't a lot. But when I started, I was sharing stuff that I knew from growing the other channel and stuff that I had learned through the process of launching that other channel, and stuff that I had already known from, you know, working with people doing the SEO for their blogs and, you know, all that stuff, because all of that still applies. Right. Yeah. So I had that background behind me as well. So I was luckily able to bring that to the table, but I'm sure, and probably still, well, not still, because, you know, we've all talked, but when, like, let's say Daryl, for example, or Tim, you know, when they saw Brian and I coming into the space, I'm sure they were looking at us and they were probably like, you know, hey, what are these guys doing coming into space? And I'm sure Daryl probably still thinks, you know, hey, you know, I gave Nick all this awesome information, and then now he's, you know, he's out there teaching people also. You know what I mean? But he's been totally cool. You know, like, I'm going to Vid Summit in October, and, you know, we talked a little bit about that, and, you know, we're excited to hook up and, you know, meet face to face finally in October. But, you know, I'm sure that they had a similar thing though, as far as, you know, what are they thinking with such a small amount? And the funny thing about that is, like, the reason that, and I'm kind of weird here, but the reason that I think it's weird, the people that we're both talking about, because I'm pretty sure that we're both talking about the same, you know, few people here. Yeah. The reason that I'm not a fan of what it is that they're doing is because it's clear right out of the gate that they're trying to make money. Yeah. It's clear that they're right out of the gate that they are, you know, like they're already like, you know, like selling shirts and, you know, like all this other stuff. And it's like, dude, you don't even have 100 subscribers yet. And You're like, you know, trying to do all this stuff, which is cool. You know, like, you know, it's good that you are going for it. It's good that you are getting these things in place now, because as your audience grows and people will, you know, get into it as they go and all that stuff. But it's the motives are, I mean, it's blatantly obvious. But again, with that said, because we're doing a lot of you know, flip-flopping here. With that said, you know, I did start off my journey on this channel as well. You know, when I came back to it and started going for it, you know, when I came back, you know, my thing was based around a long-term plan that does include making money as well. Yeah. So, you know, I just handled it a little bit differently.
No, but you also brought experience to the table.
Yeah.
You didn't just go watch Daryl Eves videos and go, wow, that looks like a good profitable niche to be in. I'm going to go do that. Right. You actually, and that's the thing. These people are not going to succeed. I've been doing entrepreneurial coaching here for going on 30 years. I've had 15,000 students in my classes, and I can always spot those that they're the shortcutters. They're the ones who want to step over the bodies of the successful to make success happen for themselves without putting in the work. And that's the thing. I think that if they look at what you guys are doing, it would be like me going, you know what? Nick is really killing it in that creator space. I'm going to go do those videos. Not that I'm qualified, but hey, if Nick can do it, I can do it. And it's just a kind of a backward way of thinking. And I could rant for hours on that, so I'll stop.
Sure, sure. Yeah, let's go back on the positive. Let's hop back on the positive train.
Oh, but the negative is so much more fun. There it really is. Let's going to talk about, and this is both positive and negative. Let's talk about some of the mistakes that you have made and some of the mistakes you see others making, and how they can avoid those mistakes. Do you remember some oh shits that happened to come your way?
Not really. The only mistake that I made essentially was when I first hopped on YouTube was not having a plan in place. It was just kind of, I was putting up videos for the sake of putting up videos and just kind of seeing what would happen, and not really having a
mistake though, right?
And absolutely. And not having a solid plan.
Right.
But then, once I went on the other channel and I came back, when I came back to this channel, I came in with my game face on, a plan. I knew exactly, I redid all my branding, and I knew exactly the actions that I was going to take over time. You know what I mean? So as far as a mistake would be concerned, I would say that was it. On the other channel, I would say that the mistake was going too hard. And, because of that, I burned out on it. And that's not cool, because I spent a ton of time on those videos, a ton of time in the research, and, essentially like 7 or 8 months of my life, building that, and to turn around and walk away from it, was kind of weird. But on the flip side of that, the knowledge that I gained in the process of growing that and making the content for it and interacting with other YouTubers and digging into YouTube and learning, what works and what doesn't work, and, all of that stuff, like taking it seriously. That channel made me take it seriously. And when you take it seriously, then it takes everything to a whole other level when you're like, seriously taking it seriously.
Yeah. Seriously taking it seriously. There's a t-shirt for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Start doing it. DeFranco, he sells t-shirts, man. You need to start.
I do. I have t-shirts, but I don't push them with almost everything I do. I don't push it. I just kind of put it there passively. And then if people are interested, that's cool. If they're not, that's fine too. I'm not trying to, because a lot of people these days, times are hard for everybody these days. So, if people are struggling or whatever, I definitely don't want them spending a shirt on my stuff.
Yeah. And by the way,
spending money on my shirt.
We did not coordinate outfits this morning. This is just purely by chance. We look like twin sons of different mothers, mine with hair. So really quickly, let's talk about your company, because you're not only doing these wonderful videos, but you have a company that helps others with their branding and their graphics. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I do a handful of things. I do consulting. I still do some graphic work via my tubertools.com website, which is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I have my membership side through TuberTools as well, which is awesome. If you are not a member there, you definitely need to go there right now and sign it up. Shameless self-promotion. But there's a handful of things that I do, but
talk about
is one of the things. Yeah, TuberTools, basically I created that because I wanted to make a place to where people that make videos, specifically YouTube videos, Facebook videos, stuff for social media, people that are making videos for social media, for the sake of their own, personal branding or, whatever reason it is, I wanted to basically build something around there that would be of value for them while, earning me money at the same time. And basically because of that, I created TuberTools that basically there are things there that are specific to people that are making videos for social media. I also have branding packages there that I do custom designs for people. So, if somebody has a YouTube account, they can go there, they can buy a branding package, and that branding package will get them all of the things to make their channel look professional, with the exception of the actual camera and audio quality. But as far as all the artwork, all the visuals, all the video graphics, it's a total package for video creators.
And it's really, I'm not going to quote the price, but you don't charge enough. I have to tell you, It's really inexpensive.
It is. And the funny thing is some people think it's expensive. Some people don't. Some people will use Fiverr or something like that. And that's cool. If you want to use Fiverr or something, sometimes you'll get good work there. Other times you'll get raked over the coals, or, you definitely won't get what you want. With, what we offer, it's a personalized service. And with that, with a personalized service, a real personalized service, it comes at a little bit of a cost sometimes.
And, and 9 times out of 10, if I can look at a YouTube channel and go, that's TuberTools. The branding, because you do such, and it comes from being an old graphic artist. I know You do such a good job there, and we'll put a link to Tuber Tools below. We've got about 5 minutes left, Nick, and I want to spend it on your best tips for creators. And I know you just did a video on this topic that we're going to link in below. But in the time we have left, if I am a someone who's coming to you again, looking to start my own YouTube channel, what are the top 3, 4, 5 tips that you have for me?
Have a plan, expect to work, be patient, use all of YouTube's features because they're there for a reason, and try to network as much as you possibly can and be a part of the community.
Talk about that really quickly, the networking aspect of it, because they're really, the YouTube creators community is huge. I mean, we both belong to multiple groups on Facebook, and I'm a big fan of networking and connecting and that sort of thing. How has that helped you? Now, you mentioned Daryl Eves before, but I know you do a lot of collaborations. I see you in a lot of places. The importance of networking to building and growing a YouTube channel.
It's important. You can do it without it, but it's important because, if you're into anything, no matter what type of business it is that you're doing, being connected with other people that are in the industry is huge, because, you don't know when somebody, like I just reached out as an example. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Live Streaming Pros, but I'm trying to work out a collaboration with them. I hit them up and I was asking about, because I'm working on a new channel, which I'll go ahead and do a shameless plug for that too. It's called Creator Insights. Yeah, it's called Creator Insights, and on that channel we're also going to be doing a hosted show, to where it's kind of like a show kind of like this, really, and because of that, we're going to be using like different cameras and all this stuff, and we're trying to up the production on it, and there's some stuff in that space that I don't even know where to start. So I hit them up and I was asking them questions, and we're trying to work out a collaboration right now as well. But reaching out to the community and networking with other creators, not just for the sake of self-promotion and stuff like that, but just for the sake of being involved with what's going on in the community, can make a huge difference. Because with every person that you're involved with, that's one more recommendation that you can get. Like in my case, if somebody were to post a video, let's say in Tube Rituals in Brian's group, and they're like, hey, how do I make a thumbnail? There's a good chance that somebody's going to link my video or they're going to link Brian's video. Mm-hmm. Right? If somebody says, hey, I'm trying to do this, how do I do it? There's a good chance that they're going to link my video or they're going to link Brian's video. You know what I mean? As far as tips are concerned for YouTube, like it's Brian's group, he owns it. And he like literally owns it with people sharing his content too, but people share my stuff. You actually share my stuff in there a lot as
Big
well.
Fan
and
of the Nimmin.
thanks. But having that network essentially, it's like it's super valuable, because even things like this, like we're reaching out right now, we're on the show. When I do my show, the Creator Insights, I'm sure you'll be cool to come onto that. It's just like a whole ecosystem of sorts of people kind of helping people reach more people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was kind of like an exception of people, but you know what I'm getting at.
We'll drop in the what's the Barbra Streisand song, "People Who Need People." We'll play that in the background. Final question, Nick. Where do you see YouTube going? I mean, there's always some kind of something happening, always a lot of drama, but in your thoughts, in less than a minute or so, the future of YouTube, the future of video online, where do you think we're going?
I think we're just starting out.
Think so?
Because technology is getting so cheap and so easily accessible for everyone all over the world. There's still a lot of people on the planet, man, that are just getting tuned in all this stuff. And as technology increases, and they're working on all that instant translation technology and all of that, like this bubble that we're in, I think we are just getting started. Because once they get all of that stuff worked out to where somebody in some small little town in India can watch my videos, somebody that's never spoken English or even heard English because their town is so small, like when they can tune into YouTube and they can watch my video and it gets translated into their native language as like a natural process, that's going to be huge. You know what I mean? So just as far as that is concerned, and just the fact that everybody sees now, they see the value that comes with, you know, authority. They see the value that comes with making videos and being able to rank videos and, you know, being able to get your message or your story out or your brand out there, whatever it is, through video. I think that that's a trend that it looks like it's huge right now, and it is, but I think it's just getting started, and not just on YouTube. I think, you know, Facebook and whatever other, you know, chat apps that pop up that are video related. I think that that video just in general is just getting started. Excellent.
Nick Nimmin, if someone wants to find out more about what you do and what you offer, we'll put links below, of course, but what's the best thing? Just go to YouTube and search for Nick Nimmin?
Yeah, so go to youtube.com/Nick Nimmin, and that's Nimmin, and you can start there, and from there you can basically go into anything else that I am into.
Very good, and we'll put links below. And by the way, you can look at me and tell, except for the hair, what an influence Nick has been on me. Hang on, Nick. These are not exactly Nick glasses, but they're the close. These are my Harry Potter.
Yeah, we're close.
Which, 20 years.
Yeah, that's close.
Harry Potter, guys. Hey, Nick, this has been fun, buddy. Let's do it again real soon.
Likewise.